Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Science of Life.
Science of Life.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Science of Life,
Episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. What is our topic today, Mr. Ace?
So, basically, we're going to talk about language.
Language.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this came up pretty recently between me and Paulie. We were just thinking about how language, not how it separates us, but really how it binds us. You know, everybody speaks a language, and I wanted to know what would be a good way to learn these languages, you know?
That's exactly how it started off. We were just like, what language should I learn next?
Yeah,
like, there's got to be a next one.
Has to be. I mean, I don't have to learn it, but for me at least, getting into the science of life, I want to be able to hopefully embody. You know, I can't be these people, but
Really
see
learn every
bit.
language.
Yeah.
Exactly. Be
See
able
more.
to put your, not just when you visit a place, be actually able to see it.
Exactly. And right now I'm not traveling everywhere. I'm stationed in the United States of America.
Me too. But I will say, myself, I actually know English. I would say I'm pretty well in Spanish as well. Por supuesto, hablas español. Está bien. Sign language, I have a little bit on. I can go from 1 to 100, and I can do the alphabet, like I've got the basics. But, I'm really trying to, learn, a new one. We were talking about, another one to learn, right? Because, Ace, I know right now, is learning Spanish, right?
I am learning Spanish. But, I'm just going to let y'all in real quick and just say, Paulie has told me that an easy way to learn, not, a guaranteed, but still a way to learn different languages might be to study into Latin. So I don't want to, go too deep into that, but I do want to say that hopefully that will be a key to my success in learning these different languages.
Well, yeah, and just to kind of explain what that means is, so he was trying to learn Spanish, right? And he was thinking, maybe I should learn Italian next, right? And I was like, no. You see, Italian, French, Portuguese, Spanish, tons of others, Norma, whatever, they're all Latin descent, meaning they're made from the Latin language. So if you know the word for leaf in Latin, which is folia, you'll know that when you hear folium in French, oh, you're talking about a leaf. Or folier in Portuguese, you're talking about a leaf.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let me not say, I'm trying to keep this secret to success back, because in order for the science of life to grow, we need to share these ways to learn. And
science is a tool.
I can't do
that. We should use. We should all use.
No shot. No. So yeah, let's, but still, I can't help but always when I hear language, I think of barriers. It's just so many out there. I don't know the real number. Do you think you can give us a little bit more of an insight of how many different type of languages?
There's over thousands and thousands of languages.
Do you think that small amount of people are speaking certain languages too, or big?
Most of them. The reason why it's thousands and thousands is because you think about it, you're like, what? I know 2 billion people speak Chinese, so how there's so many, right? There's only 7 billion people in the world. How's that? I know everyone in Mexico speaks Spanish, right? What? But yeah, for the most part. But when in reality it's because there's places like Africa and stuff like that where it's mostly divided in tribes, and each and every single one want to have their own separate language. They want to define themselves in a certain ways, and one of that part is with language. So they're like, no, we have this, and right next door they're like, no, we have this. And the same thing applies for places like in India and places in the Eastern Asia. It's many small people who have their own languages, many small groups. Mm-hmm. Then you get into the bigger ones when there's Muslim and Islam, and they all have all their own things, and there's Spanish, and then there's Portuguese, and how they all came from Latin descent, but they all wanted to define themselves in a different way.
Jeez.
They all changed their languages, and that ended up thousands and thousands.
They're all Jedis. But
they're all branches off of a tree, basically.
It goes crazy. But I have to say, looking at so many different languages, it makes me think, they can't all be the same amounts of, I guess, advanced. They can't be as advanced in the same way. So different ones have to be more complex or more simplified than others. Do you think that, some languages might be just have more opening to what's going on in life and everything in general?
That's actually a very interesting that you came across that point. That actually goes along with the James Lange's theory. And that's a guy, basically a philosopher or whatever, who came up with a theory in language. And it states that from what language you know, basically your language determines your perception of reality. Meaning, if you only know the color red car, or like you think of red car, you can only think of a red car. But let's say in Chinese, it's sparkling red or shiny red. It adds that other bit and gives you just that little bit of more to your perception than just red car.
I see.
It's a small example on it.
That's a good metaphor.
And it goes a little bigger to, like you were saying, some languages are different. Not necessarily in complexity, but around what they were based on. For instance, in China, it's a lot more, a lot of people don't know, it's a lot more family orientated. All that talk about, the suicide and shame stuff is because it was such a big pressure to impress your family. That was everything. Your family was your people. And so a lot of the words around there are based around a father figure or obeying or shame because they were more family orientated. When in English, it was a lot more looser. They were based around freedom and doing what you wanted to and rebelling against the people who were doing you wrong.
Okay, so languages could, in a way, oppress.
Well, yes, in a certain way. You can't miss what you never had.
Okay, because I heard this story from a friend recently about this man who just wasn't liking what this girl did in life. And, it's not fully up to him.